Okay, I really hope this is recording. If not, this is going to be a frustrating experience. This is my first chance doing this with Zoom because I want to kind of bounce around to multiple screens for you guys and tell you a little about what's cooking. So there are 4 topics that I'm really going to try to squeeze in here at the end that I don't want you to miss out on. Today's a little bit about marketing automation. Next, I want to talk to you about email marketing, customer journey maps, and a little bit about marketing metrics. The only assignment from all of these is going to be the email marketing. So keep an eye on that for next week. That's the only individual assignment from these next last kind of lectures. Kind of really miss out because these are lectures that I kind of go through examples and bring in live examples from the workplace and some metrics and things like that. Not gonna be able to show you right now at this time, but we'll do the best that we can. I wanted to give you a few kind of interesting updates. One fun, starting something fun. If you didn't see the KSL article from last night, many of you know I seem to have a board game fetish, I guess, if you will. So ideally, if you're seeing my screen, you'll see that there's a KSL article written about my board game addiction or collection, however you want to best describe it. But you're welcome to go and kind of take a look at that article. I thought he did a good job, so it was kind of fun. You're seeing a picture of my couch and this board game table that was someone handmade for us. And it's got a tabletop that goes on top of it and turns into a kitchen, or it turns into a nice dining table that fits right snugly over the top of all of that. Kind of fun. What else update you on? Just trying to think through all my windows. I think that's good. So let me tell you just kind of the highlights, some tools and some things we do with marketing automation. Let me first start with an important keynote about marketing automation, and that is the term sales operations. I want you to, if you're interested in marketing automation, if you might have a career in marketing automation, which many of you will, you need to look at this keyword, marketing or sales operations, because sales has done a little bit better job at branding this position in the industry. So if you're out searching for jobs for marketing automation, also search for the job title sales operations, because sales operations is essentially marketing automation. It's just they've done a better job talking about automating the sales process than we do talking about marketing automation. But there's a lot of overlap. Now, sales automation or sales operations sometimes also refers to optimizing outbound sales and not so much inbound. But there's so much crossover today that an individual with the title, marketing automation or sales operations could very well be the very same position in a smaller business or operation. So out there doing for job searches, please note that sales operations could be what you're looking for, or potentially what your title will become. Speaking of out there searching for jobs, I know a number of you are in my digital capstone class. The rest of you will be eventually. I'm keeping a very close eye on the job market, as many of you probably are. If you're struggling there, I know a lot of my links have dried up a little bit. Not as many people out there posting for jobs, but the best thing you could do is connect with me on LinkedIn. And anytime you are looking for a job, just reach out to me and see if I know anybody, see if I can help you, and do the best that I can there. Okay, so marketing automation, sales operations. So essentially, what marketing automation is all about is it's what we're trying to do as marketers to make us, look super efficient, make us look great, and make us look like we have a huge team when we don't often have huge teams. So we're trying to make things more efficient, but not just for efficiency's sake. I think when automation first was kind of introduced, it was spam, right? Spam's probably the earliest, it's not gone, obviously, but that's where it starts. It's just how many people can we spam how can we buy lists? How can we shoot out as many emails as possible? And that's going to change. Obviously, larger companies get it right first, and smaller companies will eventually figure it out. But that marketing automation is about how do we customize the journey for our potential, conversions. And that's going to be more and more the trend and the effort and the interest. And as regulation, as people don't want to get spam, as spam filters get stronger, it's going to be very, very critical and very important for us as marketers is to how to look like we're reaching everybody while making people feel like we're reaching them as individuals. And that's going to be the challenge going forward and the shift in what we want to do. So how is marketing automation just email? Absolutely not, right? This is how do we capture leads and opportunities from wherever they may come in? How do we put them into a system that makes them feel validated, right? Makes them feel like we understand their pain, why they've come to us, what stage of the buying process are they in, so that we can best deliver to them what they need at that time, right? Some people might just be information. For other people, it might be ready to purchase a product. And we've got to understand where they are in that journey, where they are in the sales funnel, and do our best to reach out to them. But being a team of, one or two and having a lot of leads, that becomes pretty prohibitive in terms of time, in terms of getting back to people very, very quickly. I want to show you one of the most interesting things I'll probably share with you all semester. If I didn't already talk about it, I want to make sure I bring it up here. There's a study that was done by MIT and Inside Sales regarding the speed at which we need to qualify an opportunity that may come into our company. So think about the companies you work for now. If someone expresses interest in your product or service, and if you're B2B more than anything, B2C obviously they just buy, but not always. We have a B2C company right now, and we get lots of questions. When those questions or concerns or issues come up, how quickly does your company respond? Are you a couple of days to get back to some people? Are you a couple of hours? And so you can actually go here. I don't always remember with you, MIT and Inside Sales Study. And it's the top link usually for me, the Lead Response Management Study. Really neat. It's actually quite dated now. I think it was done in 2012. So don't take everything here, because they also, they want to know when the best time to contact was, and when the best time to make a phone call was, and some of that's now dated because everybody starts to do that. But what isn't dated is a chart down here. Oh, you guys can't see it. Wow. There you go. Okay, leadresponsemanagement.org, LRM study. What I want to show you, the most important thing is right here. So let me zoom in here and show you this. Okay. This is showing us how likely a lead is to get qualified based on how long it takes us to respond, okay? And what we're seeing here is in just 2 hours, right? If we got back to them within 1 hour versus 2 hours, it exponentially decreased the likelihood that that lead would become a qualified lead. Basically, they'd moved on, or we didn't get a hold of them, right? Whatever it might be. But amazingly, right, if you just think about just 10 hours away from that first inquiry from a potential customer, we drop the likelihood of qualifying that individual. So we go back to your companies. If you're 2 days out or a day out even, you got to change your process. You got to do better. You have to do better, okay? But when they got back this part of the study, interestingly enough, they're like, wow, they just did not think that it would be this impactful, that they went and furthered the study and said, well, wait a minute. If it's that exponential in the first hour to the second hour, what's it within the minutes of that hour, right? And this is what's become, I've used this for many executives, that it's an exponential drop-off just from 5 minutes to 50 minutes in terms of the likelihood of that lead becoming qualified. So how quick is your company? Are you within 5 minutes getting back to that customer? If not, you are leaving a lot of opportunity on the table. Now, what does it mean get back to? Well, that's different for every company. Okay? It's also different for every customer. If a customer for our business has picked up the phone to call us and we don't get back to them or even answer that phone call, there's a high likelihood that that person is moving on. So say, for example, a plumber, right? If I need a plumber and I need them now and they don't answer their phone, there's a likelihood that I'm calling the next plumber, and there's a very little likelihood that you'll get my business. So that may differ for each industry, whereas, for a B2B, it might be, hey, I'm interested in your product or service. Can you send me more information, right? They're not quite ready to purchase. But if you don't send them that information, then their perception of you as a business is, well, they're not getting back to me. They're not interested in my business. So this is where automation comes in for us, is if we can automate the process for our potential customers better, then we could potentially build a better business, right? Now, reality is that, if we can just get automation set up for our business and funnel everybody into one funnel, that's at least better than where we're at. And that's where a lot of companies are just at to this day. How do we even just start this automation process, let alone get it right for individual customers and where they're at in the purchasing process? I visited one of the top marketing firms, Epsilon, in Ohio, and I asked them about this idea of automation, personalized automation, and they said, this is a $100 million company. They said they're still trying to figure that out. So don't expect that you're going to have everything solved right away, but what you want to do definitely is create some automation. And I want to show you a tool that I purchased this year that maybe my future classes will kind of use. But when you do email or even just any sort of inbound automation, typically you get an editor that looks like the one on the screen now. They vary a little bit, and I'll show you some of those variations. But essentially, what you're trying to do is process what you want to do for a customer and how it looks. And this is just a simple sample that I built to kind of demonstrate how this looks. So for us, this tool here will actually simulate what happens with a customer, and you can kind of simulate their likelihood of turning into a conversion, and basically what you're going to make. So what this is saying for me is, I said, okay, we're going to do some Facebook marketing, and better log in. And you guys actually have access, I think, in Canvas to play with this tool. And you can actually come in and see what I've done here. Get this to come up again. Okay. So what we're doing here is we have a Facebook ad copy that is ideally going to get us 2,000 visitors. And we have a word of mouth going on that might get us 50 visitors. And oops, we don't want to copy that. Okay. And they're going to come into our sales page, but I wanted to show you, okay. Not that. Okay, edit this one. Okay. So from Facebook ads, we believe that we're going to get 2,000 monthly visitors, clicks. That's how we're going to get them through, and it's going to cost us of a $9 cost per click. So you can adjust with that, kind of where you think you might be, but we're going to average high, and so that's what's going to cost us to get those 2,000 monthly visitors to click on our ad and come into our website. We've got word of mouth. Oops, that's the wrong. Oh my goodness, sorry. A little clunky here. It's dead. Great. The word of mouth I wanted to show you wasn't going to cost us anything because that's word of mouth marketing, right? That's our dream. So let's delete that. And now edit, there we go. So other search, 50 visitors, not gonna cost us anything. That's kind of the idea. So we're gonna get, now, probably our word of mouth customers are at a different stage of the sales process than our Facebook click customers. And that's kind of sometimes the limitation of some automation tools, or even us as a company, is that we don't really have two different landing pages for these people who, if it's a word of mouth, might be a higher level of trust with our organization, and probably a higher level of conversion. So depending on the complexity that you want to get into, you might say, well, we're going to have a better conversion with them than with our Facebook. But our sales page here, this is our landing page. Okay, what are we going to convert? Well, we're very, very pessimistic and say that we're going to only convert 2% of this page. Okay, and we have 2 products that they could potentially buy. So we're gonna split it up 50-50, that if it's an individual or if it's a couple, they're gonna come in and buy the 2 different products. We've got the pricing for the products built in here. So that's what's gonna happen. So what's gonna happen is then, 1% of our landing page is gonna come in by the 20%, 1% is gonna come here, they're gonna get to the order page. But how many are gonna go right from the order page? That may not be 100%. Again, if you're B2C and you're getting tons of web traffic, maybe it doesn't. But in this case, we're going to say that 100% of everybody who says that they're intending to buy, is that going to happen? Probably not. This is what we call kind of that abandoned shopping cart issue that a lot of companies have. So you could actually have a process for that. Okay, and then that thank you page is that landing page that we know that they've converted and that we've gotten their money, right? So 100% coming to that. Now, 98% of those people that hit our landing page are not going to purchase. What are they going to happen? They're going to leave our site. They're going to click on something else. There's a number of things that they might do differently. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to remarket to them, and we're going to, in this instance, we're going to email them, right? Because we got their email addresses from some way in this example, and we're going to restate the offer with this email. And we think 17% of them are actually going to click on this email. So still not a very big amount, okay? 83% are not, so we're gonna wait a day, and then we're gonna send them another email. And then we're gonna wait a day and send them another email. So we're really gonna hit them hard, seeing that they were interested at some point in time. And in the end, we're still not gonna convert a significant amount of these people. 17%, 16% will convert here, 15%, and that conversion will still only make it to our landing page, our sales page, and even from there, we're only expecting a small 1% or so to convert. So we're not being unrealistic with what we expect to actually purchase. So in other words, we have 40 people who will buy right away, and then we have an additional 6 people from all of this effort that will buy down the road, okay? So not a ton of purchases, but this piece here, the emails and the sales page, this all here, how much did this cost? Well, it cost us a couple of hours to set it up and create the emails, but after that, there's no additional cost, right? The only additional cost comes from people actually cost of clicking on our ads to get here. But this whole automation process, there's no additional cost. So if we can capture any more revenue doing all of this, then it's a win, right? It's a huge ROI on the efforts that we spent on doing this. And maybe it's not as many as original. But when you set all of this up with the percentages, what you do is you can run the simulation, and it'll actually simulate people going through this process. So in this case, right, our total expenses was $18,000. Our traffic sources cost, we got a total of 2,050 people coming in. This is how much was bought of our product, only about $1,400, leaving us with a monthly profit of negative $16,000. Right? So this is not a good situation, but a fair simulation as to kind of where a startup might be as they're starting to acquire customers. Now, in our business, this is a one-time purchase, but in other businesses where this could be a subscription model and the customer lifetime value could be significant, losing a lot of money up front may not be entirely a bad model, right? If you know the lifetime value. I don't think this software tool, I haven't used it enough to see if it will calculate the lifetime value of that customer. You could technically say that this first purchase that they make of your product is a lifetime value, but you may have to do that with some other tools as well. Okay, but this is kind of a drag and drop modeling of what an automation would look like from different sources. What's interesting is the tools that are out there and available to you will actually not model it, but integrate it with your actual landing pages and tools. So I want to show you a couple of those. One that we use a lot is this active campaign. I'll come back to that. I want to show you first how to get. So one of our favorite tools, Duck Soup. Okay, very affordable pricing. This is mainly targeted towards LinkedIn, but you can basically create a lookalike audience on LinkedIn and set a message that you want to send to them to get connected with them and generate great leads, very targeted. So how are we doing this for our business? So for example, we've created a lookalike audience of marriage counselors across the United States. We created a hey, we want to get to know you message. We'd like you to try out our new product that we're introducing to the industry. So it's very targeted to our audience. And we started running this just about 2 weeks ago. And I think out of 200 that we reached out to, 40 said yes and connected with us. And 20 of those have said that they'll happily give our product a trial. So that's 20 out of 200. That's a 10% conversion. Now that's not converting buying, but that's at least 10% of those people saying, yeah, I'm interested. So that's a pretty high level of interest. Very excited by this tool in terms of being able to kind of grab that audience and grab all their information from LinkedIn and reach out to them. Similar tools out there exist. So Get Prospect, very similar concept. So Get Prospect, what's really neat about this one is it will do more than just LinkedIn. Basically what you do is you find, you tell them, hey, I want the C-suite of this company, and it'll go in and tell you this is what their emails most look like. Here's where they're connected in social media in various places, and here's people you might want to get a hold of. Really cool tool. Zoom Info, very similar concept as well. Used by a lot of big companies about how to capture, again, leads that are targeted within your information, within your industry, sorry. Two tools that we use a whole lot. Automate.io is a great, simple tool for small companies to automate their process, what I was showing you on the tool, on this tool. Another tool we use is Zapier and Active Campaign. This is the one we specifically use in our business, is Active Campaign. Basically, what I'm kind of showing you, that I showed you on that chart, is if they do this, then do that, right? So have they opened an email? No. Send them a newsletter? Yes. Have they made a purchase? No, right? So walking through kind of that process, but this is not just a simulation. This tool will actually integrate with whatever tools you're currently using, whatever email platforms, whatever databases. We had a company, actually I want to show you this in just a minute, that we use this for, that their database was a Google spreadsheet, right? So, and it can integrate with that. And then Zapier will help you actually do things. So if this column has the word ready in it, then send them this email. If this column has the word prospecting in it, then send them this email, right? So it's a very, very good tool to help automate, trigger action, do something, alert, okay? So I want you to see these tools because these are tools that are being used by small businesses, by our small business, by others that we're working with directly. I wanted to kind of just show you, I don't want to show you the whole presentation, but I'll just show you a company we did this for. Very simple, right? That what we did, our plan was grab some resources, show them the tech stack, show them how we're going to implement it, train it, right? Basically how to make it rain doing this automation, okay? Podium, so a chat bot on their website was something we believe that would be very helpful to them. We would bring those leads into Google Sheets because that's what they were using. Using Active Campaign, we could then set up the emails, set up the phone calls that sales would have to make, right? Build that kind of whole pipeline advancement process. And then Zapier is the tool that would actually do the action. that we might have set up for them automation-wise, okay? So how does it do that, right? So Podium, we mentioned that this is not just all automation, but there needs to be somebody who's talking to and building that pipeline. That SDR would then put that individual into the sheet. There are some things you can automate it, some you can't, right? In this case, if it comes in from a chatbot, it needed to be a human person who was going to get this into the active campaign series, okay? Sales reps would then take it from there as they got emails and they built communications and had to make phone calls. That's where sales would take over, and then we would continue to nurture them going down the road. This is a company, right? Here's the interesting thing about this company. This is a company, Box Marketing, that does swag, right? So trinkets and those type of things for companies. Salespeople had no process whatsoever before this of following up with previous customers. Their lowest hanging fruit opportunity that we just couldn't believe was they had, I don't know, about 4,000 customers in their database that they had at one point in time or other done some swag for, and there was no communication other than maybe a sales rep, but the sales reps would just focus on their top 10 clients and spend time taking them golfing. There was no communication throughout the year. One of the first kind of campaigns that we created for them was to say, hey, let's just do an anniversary of your purchase, right? Hey, there's an anniversary of the month that you purchased from us. We'd like to send you a free gift. Is this email still accurate? Just so we can see if their client database is still good. But then we can come up with a campaign where, yeah, every year we reminded them that we're out there and we're doing things, and we send them a cool little gift, right? Great opportunity for this company. So that's kind of what we were, working through in terms of building an automation strategy for this company. And by the way, Box Marketing in Provo is somewhere in the realm of a $40 to $60 million company, and they had no automation built in to them. So that's why this is such an opportunistic field to be in. Opportunities abound in optimizing, organizing, getting set up this automation. This is a big part of our careers and our focus in digital marketing going forward is all of these channels and sources that we're using of inbound leads and opportunities. How are we nurturing those throughout the process to get them to work better and better? Let me just see if there's anything else that I missed that I wanted to show you on this topic. I know this is super fast. I usually actually walk through these campaigns, and we can actually pull these up and I can show you some of these that we built. But it's just a matter of how do you get people into your pipe? How do you design a pipe that if they say no or aren't ready today, what is the information that they can get later so that they can continue to nurture throughout your pipe and so that you can maintain contact? And this automation doesn't just have to be always triggered about sales. It can be about customer support. It can be about maintaining relationships with the customer. It can be about thought leadership and things that you're doing with all of that. So this is a little highlight. I know I wanted to spend more time on this, and I know there's a lot of interest in this field. Spend some time on your own. You've got these links that I've sent you. I'll put these in. I'll put all of these links as kind of things that you can go and look more into, the Duck Soups, the email finder, those tools and this study. This study will instantly make you credible with your team. I did this with almost $1 billion company, $600 million company, and they had many subsidiaries. And one of the executives, and I'd show you this example in class, but I just don't have time. One executive took this to heart. He took me to the side and said, "We will respond within 5 minutes, and I will do it." They said, I believe that people calling in are smaller size deals. So he said, not only will I respond within 5 minutes, I'm going to hire an individual specifically to handle these inbound calls, because I showed him they were getting them. And took it extremely seriously. So he had a person who she either was live on the phone or she responded within 5 minutes of all of our leads that came in from the web and phone call. This inside salesperson cost about $60,000 to $70,000 with commissions, and he tracked all of this. Came back to me a year later and said, "I tracked $280,000 of revenue tied to this process that we built." And of course, the cost was obviously the individual he had doing the 5-minute follow-up was already part of the organization. So the only additional cost was the inside sales salary and benefits. So it was a clear win, clear, almost 2.5 to 1 return on investment opportunity for him that was a very big success for me and for his organization that very much drove sales for his piece of the business anyway going forward. So lots of things to think about, lots of opportunity, I'm sure, within your small businesses and other businesses you'll work for to become leaders in this sales operations / marketing automation field. A lot of good easy tools to start using up front, bigger tools as you grow from Marketo to Salesforce. The HubSpot, HubSpot will integrate more and more of this automation, and other tools will do this already. And you'll use pieces of that until eventually you'll build out your campaign. So if you have questions, let me know. Maybe when we get over all of this distancing, if some of you are really interested in this, come visit us in our small office. I could show you a little bit more about it with our team and kind of what we're doing. Just as a final note, though, no, I'll share with you this on the next one. We've done 2 more influencer marketing and some very interesting results I want to share with you. And I forgot to do that in the beginning, but I don't want you to miss it. So I'll do it at the beginning of the next one, talk a little about some of our most recent craziness with some influencer marketing that we've done. I think some of you would be interested in. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Hope you're all well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're finishing strong with this semester. And take care. We'll see you.